Hi, this is Catherine, and this is Taking Tea with Catherine. This is an herbal tea because at my age one must ration one's excitement. I don't know if that's a quote I'm using correctly, but this tea is a ginger mint tea, but it's called Violet and Mary's tea, the Downton Abbey line of teas from the Republic of Tea. And I thought that just would kind of work, mainly because I'm doing the TBR for May, and in America anyway, the next movie for Downton Abbey is coming out in the theaters in May, and hopefully I can see it. I have not seen a movie in a theater since a long time, probably almost 4 years ago, so it might be time, so hopefully I can do it. But of course, today we're talking about books. It's a TBR again, somehow. This month went so fast that we're doing another TBR. Um, and this month is a little nuts for me because I decided to do, even though I'm not going too crazy, I am doing 3 readathons and I am excited about all of them. So I had to kind of make a deal with myself and say, all right, you get into a lot of pressure when you overdo these things. So I'm just going to pick books that I like that would work with these things and these themes, and not to maybe do the prompts, even though the prompts all sounded good from what I could see. One must, do what one can. So the 3 readathons that I am going to be a part of, well, I'm going to be a part of, I'm going to be, participating in any possible way one is the one I've been doing for the past, I guess it's the third year, is the Springathon 2022, and that runs from May 9th to 22. So it's not all month, although I guess one is allowed to read all throughout the month if you want. These books, it's mainly nature writing. Excuse me, nasal. Don't you love to hear that? Mainly nature writing and mainly nonfiction nature writing, although I guess you can read novels if you want. But it's hosted by Natalie from Curious Reader, Heidi from My Reading Life, and Doris from All the Books. I hope I got that right. So yes, 3 hosts, people who love nature writing. I do too. I just have so many books that are considered nature writing. I haven't gotten to a lot of them recently. I picked, well, 2 books, and then I have one that I think can sort of count, that I'm going to do in a kind of group read, so I thought I'd just include that here. The first one is a book I bought about a year ago, actually. I remember buying it. I remember the circumstances of buying it, and I was really excited to have it for May of 2021, but I didn't get to it, so I was a little sad about that, and that is Entangled Life: How Fungi Make Our Worlds, Change Our Minds, and Shape Our Futures by Merlin Sheldrake. So yeah, what it says. And I've been seeing this actually on BookTube, on Bookstagram, elsewhere, and all I've heard is enthusiasm. And, by anyone who likes any kind of nature writing has seemed to be happy to have read this book. So I think I really do want to get to it this time. And it interests me. I did read a book that was about fungi, well, specifically mushrooms, last year. Way Through the Woods by Lit Woon Wong. I might have that a little off. I might be wrong by at least one name there. Sorry about that. But it was great. It was a really good book. So, but I guess I would have been overdoing it if I was reading too much about fungi one month. Although maybe I should have, be on theme. Whatever, I'm going to try for May. And the next book is a book that I got recently also, but very much more recently, and a book that I've been wanting to read for quite some time. I just didn't have it, and now that I do, let's do this. It's already got a tiny little dent in the side. I don't know what happens to books if they get dents in them. It's probably my cats. I blame my cats. Why not? Blame the natural world. Anyway, so this is also sort of like a book about books, but not really, because it's a biography of a person who wrote, and so not really. But anyway, this is Beatrix Potter: A Life in Nature by Linda Lear. So, Beatrix Potter spent a lot of time with animals and plants and stuff and bugs and insects, I should say. And so she knows a lot more about nature than I ever will, or at least she knew. And I grew up reading Beatrix Potter, loved her books as a kid, and still love them now. And I think it just kind of works. So I don't know if I'll actually finish this book. It is, well, it's not that big of a book. It's just like 500 pages, but it seems chunky. So we'll see. At least I'm gonna get a start at it. Make a start, get a start, make a start. And then a book that is part of again with the nose, the Kindred Spirits Club, and hosted by Kate Howe. And so she's been picking books I think every month, and they've all been good. Actually, the last book that I just finished, and I don't want to talk about it yet because it's not a wrap up, but was fiction, but had a lot of nature and nature writing basically. So it was actually a good sort of a appetizer. I don't know. Got me in the mood to read nature writing even more so. But this is a book that I read actually, so it's a reread for me. But I have the volume that's 2 volumes in one. But this is All Creatures Great and Small with a puppy, and by James Herriot, and that probably sounds familiar to a lot of people because there were at least 2 TV adaptations, 2 different TV series made from these books. So and it's about a man who was a country veterinarian. So that's nature. That's working with animals. So I thought, well, that kind of works then. I could kind of include that in the Springathon. Hey, this is still kind of hot. But anyway, so I thought that was good, and I'm very happy to have those books. Then we have the historical fiction readathon that is hosted by Katie at Books and Things. She likes to pick a different type of book for readathons every May, apparently, like kind of like a low pressure, chilled, as opposed to maybe the other ones that she co-hosts that are a little more intensive, like Jane Austen July and Victober, which are 2 of my big ones too to participate in. And so this one is just reading historical fiction, and one's definition of historical fiction may vary. I like to think of it as anything, well, I don't know how to think of it actually. I would maybe say 50 years ago or more, maybe more than that. I don't know, but that can vary because I have read books that took place in the 70s and it felt like historical fiction, even though, well, it is 50 years. Oh no, some of the 70s is 50 years ago. Oh dear. Anyway, as someone who was born in the 70s, that is alarming for me, just FYI. But anyway, so I guess I probably wouldn't count the 70s though, although if you want to, I think that's fine. But there's a whole bunch of fun prompts, but I thought I would just stick to a couple of books. And here's the thing, I have 2 books that I put on hold at the library, so I can't show them to you because they're not here yet. But one of them is the next Molly Murphy mystery that's technically historical fiction, because it takes place in the early 1900s in New York. And the other one is the newest book by Alison Weir, and I've enjoyed her historical fiction, most of it, over the years. And now she's done one about Elizabeth of York, who is I'm pretty sure it's Elizabeth of York. I think it's the mother of Henry VIII, the one who married Henry VII, who would have seen the end of the Wars of the Roses and the beginning of the Tudor era, obviously would have known Richard III. Pretty sure it's her. I hope I'm not wrong with that, because I'm really happy. I'm really been looking forward to this book, and I think it's about her. But either way, I don't have it yet because it's not out yet, so I have it on hold at my local library. But that is definitely historical fiction either way, and I guess it's kind of pre-Tudor but Tudorish, and well, both Tudor fiction and not Tudor fiction. Thing is, Tudor fiction is one of the biggest, I think, of the historical fiction time periods, and so I sometimes feel like I'm just jumping on the bandwagon, but then I think if you like something, you like it. Now, one type of historical fiction that is also one of the most popular, but it's not always my favorite, or at least I don't gravitate toward it, doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. For instance, I like Foyle's War as a TV show, so I guess you could say I like some World War II fiction. I don't think I'm the biggest fan. But I've had this book for a little while, and I've heard really nice things about it, and it just seems kind of like a happy kind of book. Might not be, it might be very sad. But this is Dear Mrs. Bird by A.J. Pierce. When I say happy, you know what I mean, but like the feeling, the slightly cozy feeling that certain books can give you, it just seems like it might be, and I'll tell you why. Emmeline Lake and her best friend Bunty are doing their bit for the war effort and trying to stay cheerful despite the German planes making their nightly raids. So Emmy dreams of becoming a lady war correspondent, and when she spots a job advertisement, she seizes her chance. But after a rather unfortunate misunderstanding, she finds herself typing letters for the formidable advice columnist Henrietta Bird. So all kinds of things ensue, I guess, as a result. But that just sounds kind of up my alley. I like the picture with the keyboard, the old typewriter keys. I am tired, as I've said before, of the back of the women in the cover for historical fiction, which I probably wouldn't have noticed if my sister Bonnie hadn't pointed it out to me, and now I see it everywhere. But it looks like a good, kind of a quick read, kind of an almost cozy read, but maybe not. So we will find out. Another book that I have that I've had mixed reviews when I've read it, read reviews, I should say. I found this book in a little free library, so I thought, okay. And this is The Second Mrs. Astor by, I believe it's Shana Abe. It's a novel of Titanic, which, this year is kind of an anniversary year because it happened in 1912, so it's like 110 years already. And of course, the movie that, got a whole new generation of people interested in the Titanic and everything involved in it is going to be 25 years old this year, which is impossible to fathom. But it happens. Time flies. But so this is about someone who was married, the second wife of the Astor that went down with the Titanic. So that has to be at least somewhat interesting. And if not, well, I didn't pay anything for it, so we'll find out. And the next but not last but not least, or whatever, I could tell it has a sticker in the front and it's still kind of like not quite off in the front, so that's annoying me. Anyway, this is a mystery because I did throw in some mysteries here, and the next category is also going to have mysteries because I think I need to keep that in my life. And this is also related to Downton Abbey because this person is married to Julian Fellows, who is the Downton Abbey guy. So this is Jessica Fellows, The Mitford Murders. This is the first one in this series where the Mitford sisters, the writers, solve mysteries. I don't know about all of them, if it's all of them or a couple of them. And last year in May, I read, or I started reading the first time I ever read a book by Nancy Mitford, The Pursuit of Love. I have 2 other of her books that I would like to read, but I didn't fall absolutely in love with The Pursuit of Love, so I'm not like rushing to go back to them, but I might at some point. But the sisters themselves seem interesting, so it's the first one, and I don't know much else about it, but I think a nurse dies and they start investigating. I love that sort of thing, and it is historical because this took place like in the 1920s, so that is quite a while ago. Yeah. I do like when they have, I don't always like it, but I have enjoyed when they have a historical figure or famous writer or someone that is well known to us who investigates murders. It's kind of like, it's cheesy in a way, or it can be cheesy in a way, but I also kind of think it is fun. It is a way to spend time with people that you kind of know, or know of, I should say, and and yet go on an adventure with them. So like, it's almost like a nice glorified version of fan fiction, maybe. Anyway, I don't have to explain, right, why I like these things. So the next readathon that I would like to be a part of is May of the Moderns, and that is being hosted by Margaret Pinard, and it is basically, I forgot the exact, I didn't mark it down, the exact years it covers, but I think it's around the first half of the 20th century. So I did think about, I have a couple of other books. I think I turn my back on you. I have it somewhere around here. I have the latest British Library crime classic that I want to get to. And I think that that was written in the later 50s. So I don't know if it counts. So I'm not going to show it today. If I get to it, that'd be great. But that is a time period that I enjoy, and I have a lot of novels from that time, especially. I have some nonfiction too. But I have a lot of novels from that time period, and I would really like to read more of them. But again, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. Not exactly succeeding. Succeeding. But I have 2 mysteries and then a virago. So, I have the two ladies of classic crime here. One of which I just read in April, but why not? And this is it got bent. It's a library book, but sorry, fixing something. Agatha Christie's Why Didn't They Ask Evans? So this has just been made again into an adaptation. Hugh Laurie's involved in it, and a number of other people. An actress who was in a movie, the last movie I saw in the theater, is in it. I forgot her name, but she played Freddie Mercury's girlfriend. I'm pretty sure it's her. Anyway, don't call me IMDb, but I'm almost certain. Anyway, so this is one of Agatha Christie's books. Obviously, it is during that time period that covers the modern novel time period, and it's being adapted. So why not read the book? And it's I don't think it's any of the main detectives that we know about. It's kind of a standalone, I think. There's a man that is found dead in a golf course, and or near a golf course, and it looks like almost like it was an accident, but he says something really odd, the title. So I guess eventually that comes to be a little questionable to some people. So the next book I thought I didn't have for some reason a copy of, but then I was looking around when I was looking for the actually for the Mitford murders. I went into my mystery bookshelf, which is another part of the apartment, and I saw this one on the top shelf where I have the smaller books, and I said, wait, I thought did I forget that I had this? But either way, I do have it, and I've been wanting to read this ever since last year when I read Gaudy Night, and his Strong Poison by Dorothy Sayers. So this is where Harriet Vane, who is the main woman of the Lord Peter Wimsey novels, I guess you could call her that, the romantic lead or whatever, gets accused of murder, and obviously Lord Peter Wimsey helps her out because she makes it to another book. Spoiler alert, right? But anyway, this is her debut, not Dorothy Sayers, but Harriet Vane, who I think is sort of a stand-in for Dorothy Sayers in her own way. So that's cool too. It has an old sticker from Borders. Remember Borders? Does anyone remember Borders? Anyway, that's history now. So I'm glad I found this, and I hope to read this in May. Last but not least, and we'll see if we can get to this one. Oh, look, there's a sticker in here from California, the Hollywood Reporter. Anyway, I don't know if I've ever seen this in here before. I love the Virago Modern Classics. I love collecting them. I love the color of them. You can't see them today on camera, but they're nice dark green, and I'm trying to read more of them. And this book was written, I think, in the early 30s. And this is Vita Sackville West, Family History. This kind of looks Downton Abbey-ish to me. She kind of has a sort of like one of the Crawley daughters, one of the ladies. That look of being exhausted. So, this is, let's see. Old Mr. Gerald is proud of the coal which has made his fortune. He is also proud of his daughter-in-law, Evelyn, or is it Evelyn? I don't know. I'm going to say Evelyn for now, because that's all I've ever known, who has kept close to the heels of the family since her husband's death in the First World War. A caring mother to her son, Dan. At 39, I like that the main character is not super young. At 39, Evelyn is a woman of irreproachable conduct who parties and plays cards with the best of society. Then she meets Miles Vane Merrick, another Vane. Bet he thinks this song is about him. A rising labor politician, 15 years her junior. I am really corny, I'm sorry. Theirs is a love affair between people of different temperaments and different eras. Sorry, my eyes just blurred up. For Evelyn knows only the social mores of her own circle, and with Miles, these securities dissolve. In this finely balanced novel, well, we'll see. First published in 1932, the uncertainties of one relationship mirror the wider uncertainties of the 1930s, producing an elegant portrait of a country in the brink of change. So I think that sounds pretty great. And kind of Downton Abbey-ish, like everything seems a little bit, not everything, but a lot of stuff seems to be a little bit mixed in there, but not really the... Anyway, I am tangenting, so we probably better wrap this up. Let me know if you guys are participating in any of the readathons for May, or what books you have ready for the next month, whether it's part of anything or not, you know. Or let me know if any of these books appeal to you, if you've read them, if you recommend any of these more than the others, if any of them are absolute disasters to you. Feel free to comment down below. If you like to talk about these kind of books, also please subscribe. And I'll try to remember to link all of the hosts and everything and the prompts if I can, or at least the host, and maybe their, intro video down below, because I recommend, if you haven't subscribed to these people, I recommend that you do. Shout out. So I know I don't do enough shout outs, so I stick them in where I can. So on that note, this is Catherine at Taking Tea with Catherine. Have a lovely tea and book-filled day and month of May.